Welcome back. Markets may be closed and our competition airing reruns, but Fox Business, we are live. And coming up, we're going to take a look at the sectors that are about to break out, and where you may want to be investing your money, something you really need to know before tomorrow's opening bell. But first, a new video shedding a light on that viral confrontation between a Native American vet and a Kentucky Catholic high school student. The video, well, the media went wild, right, with the initial footage. This is a snippet of it that was aired of the Friday encounter. It was rallies. All of these people just met right there at the same time in Washington, D.C. And the initial look, it appeared to show that the white teenager, Nick Sandman, was taunting Nathan Phillips on the steps of the Lincoln Memorial. But, you know, as you start to pull this video out longer and people started to post it online, well, it looks like maybe the blame was on a group that didn't even get mentioned the first time. It was a small group of black Hebrew Israelites. Now, the media madness coming as Robert Mueller's team had to come out and refute BuzzFeed's report that President Trump told Michael Cohen to lie to Congress. Political commentator Ashley Pratt is here with us to discuss, and Beverly Hallberg is with us as well. Ashley, you know, to me, these are two back-to-back issues that shows what some people will call Trump derangement syndrome, just a certain amount of animosity and anger out there that creates these knee-jerk reactions that were before people would take a breath and find out the facts.
Yeah, I'm not sure I would go that far, but I will address two things here. One, the BuzzFeed piece, you know, that came out. BuzzFeed is still standing behind the reporting. Now, what I think is interesting about all of this is that Mueller's office, which is always very quiet, did come out and say something, which is huge. Now, what that could potentially mean, I think while they're saying that some of the reporting there wasn't accurate, they didn't flat out deny the entire reporting. So I do think that maybe something could be cooking on the Mueller side, which is why they had to come out and make a statement. That's just my conjecture there. Now, the second thing when it comes to this video with the student protesters, and then you've got the Native American protesters and the black Israelite protesters, I just on today, MLK Day, of all things, want to use one of MLK's quotes, which was that darkness does not drive out darkness, hate does not drive out hate, and only love can do that. And our country could really stand to benefit right now with all the divides that we have among us. We should stop seeing everyone as us versus them and really start to come together. Now, we can again say that the media hyped all of this up, but we do have some serious divisions within our country, and that is exactly why this ends up happening time and time again, because it doesn't allow for facts. Divisions allow for more hatred. Well,
yeah, well, we'll perish together as fools. But you know, Beverly, again, the media's role as the fourth estate used to come with guardrails. It used to come with a sense of responsibility that no matter how divisive the nation was, the media, the journalism in particular, real journalism was above it all. And I don't know if that's the case anymore. There's some very well-known famous people came out immediately to condemn these high school kids.
Yeah, one of the things I think we have to pay attention to is this word or this phrase called "if true." That's what we saw a lot with the BuzzFeed story, where reporters were coming out and saying, if this is true, here's what happened.
But lawmakers were saying impeachment. Yeah. Some people in the media were using the I word immediately.
Absolutely.
We need an impeachment. This does it. This takes us over the top.
This is why I think we need to say, if false. If this report is false, then what? What happens to that media company? So that's why I think it's a two-way street. And what I thought was really despicable about the story with this boy, the main boy, who his face was there and who was smiling and people have mocked him for it, is that people didn't even say if this was true. They see a snippet of the video and automatically deemed him as the problem. His family's getting death threats. His life would have been over as far as career. When you think about if the media did not come out and people didn't correct it, it took people watching the full 2 hours to say he's actually not at fault. You even had a congressman from Kentucky come out and say that we need to make sure that no youth wear MAGA hats anymore. Right. He was calling for them to take off hats. So we need to get more context, and media has the responsibility with this, and I think they should be held accountable.
Ashley?
Now, Charles, what if we flip this on its head, though, and look back to when Obama was in office and the amount of reporting that was done then, to where conservatives used to say the same type of things. If this is true, then Obama should leave office. So I do think there is some hypocrisy in some of this sometimes. And I do think that there is a need for truth in journalism and truth in reporting, but this has happened now on both sides. Now, you can blame the mainstream media, you can blame divisions in our country on that, but I will say this is often the part of political problems where we all, regardless of political affiliation, want to blame the other people, the other side, in this us versus them mentality.
Some people think the congressman was being facetious with his comments on the MAGA hat. I personally don't, but some people in our building and in this organization do. So I think he was being very serious about it. And his tweet said, "This seems to be poisoning youth minds." But that's up for clarification for anyone. But, you know, real quick, though, I will say, you know, Ashley, the looking back at that and then saying it maybe justifies this, or you know, we're in the midst of something, I think, that's far worse than anything we saw with President Obama. Wouldn't you agree? The sort of vitriolic animosity toward President Trump, I've never seen it before on display.
I've never heard
every
these types
single
of
day.
statements coming from the White House. So, you know, that's another issue. When we talk about degrading specific
But
types
these are
of
like,
people,
these
women,
are Trump
minorities.
supporters, though, like a kid, a high
Right.
school kid.
I
People
get
were
that,
saying to
but
punch him
that's
in the
exactly
face on
why,
social media.
because our president has said before
this
at
has
his
nothing to do
rallies
with the
we should
president,
punch
though.
protesters.
But
Specific
that's
rhetoric
crazy,
like
though,
that is going to end up reflecting on anyone else who supports him later on, and that's just
Well,
because that has been condoned
this
by
kid
the
is
president
harmed,
of the
whoever
United
harms
States
this-
who
if someone-
represents the Republican
If
Party.
someone harms someone for wearing a red MAGA hat and says it's because
I don't think
President
that
Trump
should be
says,
tolerated. That should not be
okay.
allowed. But I'm saying the precedent has now been set that it is okay because our president says things like this. So when actions
Yeah,
like this
I
happen,
disagree.
it's
I hope
okay.
no one's ever harmed. And
I hope
and,
not either. I'm
and-
saying we shouldn't be
and let me
condoning
tell
this
you
type of
something.
behavior ever.
As a black man on Martin Luther King Jr. Day, so many times I heard things should be done like a black person should be discriminated against because another black person did something. That kind of whataboutism made race relations bad for a long time. It made it hard for good people to make it above bad people, even though there's a lot more good people than bad. I think we got to call people out. This was an embarrassment, and then everyone should just look in the mirror, be introspective, and say, hey, maybe this is it. Maybe we've reached the peak of all of this, and we could all take a step back and pause before we just reach out and condemn next time. Let's just hope. Ashley, Beverly, thank you both very much.
Thank you.